Good day. Hello, this is Josh. How are you? I hope you had a nice holiday. Here in America, we just had Thanksgiving last week. I've not been to the movies since I saw Moana 2 before the holiday, until last night when I saw a movie. And I made a choice. I made a trademark, maybe not great Josh choice about what to see. Because I had a chance to see, they were showing Juror number 2, which is Clint Eastwood's movie, possibly his last movie, and almost not released, or at least not released in too many theaters. And so the opportunity to see it, it doesn't look like amazing, but I'm interested and I wanted to see it. But I chose instead to catch up with Gladiator 2, and I think this may have been an error. So I'm not a big Gladiator guy. I'm also not, I find I'm saying this more and more, but I'm not a cynical reviewer. I want to like movies. I want everything to be good. I used to be a bit of a snob back in the day, 25 years ago. And Gladiator, the original Gladiator, was kind of a victim of that, because I just, at the time, this is very this is my thinking a long time ago, that it just seemed like a Braveheart ripoff. And I was such a Braveheart fan. I know. And Braveheart's a great movie, but I was really all in, and I thought this was, ripping it off. And then when it won awards and everybody went crazy for it, I was like, come on, sheeple. But whatever. So I don't have a lot of fondness for the original Gladiator. I've not revisited it. Maybe I should have, but this movie already felt like homework. I didn't want to do additional homework. So I did see Gladiator 2. What I will say is, though, that I have, I may not be all in on this franchise, but I am a big fan of Ridley Scott. I mean, he's an incredible filmmaker, very prolific. He's pushing 90 and he's still putting together giant productions. He's still pumping out interesting, huge movies. And he takes real swings and he has a real voice, and not everything he does is amazing, but he's we're lucky he's around. So from that aspect, I was looking forward to seeing what he would do here with a long delayed sequel to Gladiator, because even as recently as Napoleon, I felt like he was making a movie with very interesting artistic choices and a very slick production. He's really good at epic stuff, and Napoleon's not my favorite movie ever of his or in any category, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed its charms and its quirks. But here comes Gladiator 2, which just feels like a very by-the-numbers, sword and sandal epic, Roman epic movie that doesn't have a lot of flourishes of style. There's a little bit of stuff in a battle in the opening sequence, still very reliant on CG. But then it just becomes a very, the politics, the intrigue is a little bit interesting, like where game pieces begin on the board at the beginning of the movie versus where they end up by the end. There's a little bit of, there's something going on there. But by and large, this just felt like a real whiff. It just felt like it was a slog for me to get through. Paul Mescal is here. He's the lost heir of Maximus. Russell Crowe is not back except in some reused footage. Connie Nielsen is back. But now we have Pedro Pascal as a Roman general. We have Denzel Washington in a very interesting flamboyant turn as the man who runs the Gladiator, the Colosseum, and who's playing politics himself to climb the ladder. We have two kind of deranged young, there's twin emperors at this point. There's a little bit of fun there. But all in all, I really just felt like this movie, I found it very hard to care, partly because the legacy of Gladiator doesn't mean much to me. So I barely remembered. I was thankful for the little bits of reused footage to remind me of things that happened in Gladiator. I was disappointed by the movie, even though I didn't have very high hopes. I just wanted to see what Ridley Scott was going to do. That's what I go to his movies for mostly. And, after coming away from Napoleon thinking, wow, this guy is still doing it. This is the first one where maybe I'm feeling like, maybe they just can't all be hits for me. But it kind of just felt like a lot of this was it's crazy to say that a movie with monkey fights and shark pits and giant battles is phoned in. You can't be. The production is so humongous. But it has that feeling, and Paul Mescal just feels like he's wasted. It just feels like he's. I would rather see him in a sensitive indie movie or some other modern drama or something, or even Shakespeare or something. But this just didn't feel. I don't know. It just didn't feel like a level up for him. He's fine in it, and Pedro Pascal. His character has some unexpected dimension. That's one of the more interesting things about the movie. I feel like I must be even forgetting things to talk about, but I really came away from this movie kind of blank, and so I'm sorry if you love Gladiator and you thought that this was an exciting sequel. That's great. I'm glad I hope it's for somebody. I really do, but it wasn't for me. We are approaching the end of the year, so that means that it is list time. It's time to talk about my favorites. I don't always have like a traditional top 10, but I definitely have a letterbox list of favorites, and I think of I want to go back over the bonkers movies of the year, the ones that hit and the ones that didn't. Not a lot of like straight up stinkers this year, a few, but so we'll do some of that stuff. We'll look back and we'll inventory the year, and we'll talk about what we loved about the movies this year. And there's still some things to see. I'm seeing Y2K later this week, which it looks silly, but it looks like a lot of fun. I like a lot of the people involved in it. So I will be back soon to talk movies, and the sun's coming up. It's right in my face, right over there. It's lovely. Lots of other fun stuff coming. Thank you so much for watching. You can join the channel. You can support me on Patreon. You can listen to the podcast feed in the description, and you can just stay tuned, and I'll see you again very soon. Josh out.